You're maybe not sure you want to leave. Out of Date says there'll be consequences of the war, but there are more pressing matters at hand. The last World Eater has been left undisturbed with the tree while you focused on the war. He thought someone with your light perspective and key would have had different priorities and faced the World Eaters before resolving the tribe war. Regardless, Out of Date is grateful the tribe war is over. Out of Date understands the road has been rough, but you already know what's left to end this journey, and it'll be tough. You're the only one that's strong enough to face the last World Eater. The future depends on someone with a light perspective to give the world a chance to survive. Only time will tell what the future holds, and if it will bring a lasting peace for those that make it to the end. He says you really need to go see Wiz as soon as possible. He's happy to help. There are really rocky ridges here. Wow. That old home might not be stripped clean yet. Just put one foot in front of the other. Easy. You run like the wind. Your destiny waits on the path you'll take to avoid it. You need to turn the pegs in. Just a few moves left. Make them count. That's spiraled out of control. You need to turn the pegs in sync. You really put a spin on it. Give your eyelights a chance to adjust to the dawn. Easy to lose your way if you can't see landmarks. Every little bit helps. Let's see. That's an improvement. Plastic scrap like that over there could be useful. In the jungle, the mighty jungle. The Surge Surf Factory. Keep your eye out for Wiz while you're here. Let's see. Look at the notices on that board. No one paid much attention to them, it looks like. Wiz should be around here somewhere, probably taking care of his guppos. A Surge Surf Factory was one of the cleaner ways to make power, until the surf turned into goo and clogged it all up, that is. The thicker the surf became with goo, the more the machinery clogged up and stopped working. Like most things from the bygone. There are sure to be more tracks around here, maybe by the shore. Much harder to... Impressed you found that, despite all the goo. This place has held power for a long time. In many ways it still does. That would require cleaning up all the goo. Glad you found that track. There's a lot to learn about this world, both here and beyond. Wuz isn't easy on the tongue, but I think he says he's happy to see a friendly face. Not too many of those around these days. Says it's good to see you again. He's Wiz. You might remember him from the old days when he let you try his octopod? Wiz remembers you were such a cheery kid, and he's glad to see that light hasn't faded from you, despite the years. But Wiz understands it was a long time ago, and memories get murkier the deeper you go, but says it helps to have friends with you to plumb those depths. They've been here for you since you were a kidling, but when you left, you also chose to distance yourself from everyone that cared for you. Wiz says our memory keeps things for us, preserves them until we are ready to face them again. He knows you've returned to face Lupa Lupin, and that confrontation is as inevitable as the tides. He's not surprised that the loss of your family could plunge you into the depths forever, but you've always been able to rise like a bubble to the surface, no matter what. He knows that though the tides of history may push you in one direction, you can always lay your own course. Ultimate asks if you ever think about freedom and whether any of us really has it. Did you make the decisions that brought you here, or are you just a pawn of fate? Glad to hear that. He only wishes he was that sure about himself. Amazed the world is going to continue on, but happy to hear it. Still so many things to invent. Impressed that you fought so hard to keep the world spinning. Thinks you were smart to join with the Myriad. They have a rainbow of ways to approach any problem. Says they're unified in the ways that matter. But that's not nearly as important as this. Wiz says that you should let the past dwell in the depths. But there's something else down there too, gnawing at the Tree of Life. He's named it the Merc Puff. This is why he's tinker-tonkering with the octopod. But the lid got stuck, so he needs a big enough tug twister to open it up and let you a-go-in. He can't leave the surge station, so you must help him find a tug twister. There's a wound-up mecha Fingro in the mecha stadium that still has one stuck on its back. It's definitely made to lend a helping hand and do the heavy lifting. Toxanol records mention it as an automaton made for moving bionucleus matter into storage areas. Feel that sunshine. An old home could be something good. A smart foe would lead. Hot metal. That's the Hut Hut. Wonder if there's anything still inside. Hey, nice shot. You need to turn the pegs in sync. Just a few moves left. Make them count. You really put a spin on it. Hey, there's some skronky metal scrap for you. Stop. Wood scrap. The one kind of scrap you could actually still find growing. You found a bric-brac that's not absolutely flat. Nice shot. Well placed. You can make something from that. A pause place. Probably cleaned out, but you never know. Got it. Don't forget the past. The right key could open this. Just a few moves left. Make them count. You need to line up the switches so they match. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. This won't be a field trip. It's the real thing. You need to loosen the bolts without unsettling it. Just a few moves left. Make them count. That's it. The tug twister's loose. Let's hope it turned the grabbing hand into a helping hand, too. He believed the tug twister would do the trick, but now realizes brute force won't do the trick. You need something slick. Well, he means slick as in greasy, so you can lube the hinges of the lid. He can't argue against the fact your fur's shiny. He says the lid should open if you sprinkle grease it. Problem is, he's all out. He knows his old friend Choo Choo always keeps his grease sprinklers well filled. He should have an extra that you can borrow. He stresses that you should come back as soon as you've retrieved the grease sprinkler. The Merc Puff is crunching bark by the minute. Wiz heard he's currently stranded at the end of the line, so it should be easier to track him down now compared to when he's running rails. Good morning to you. The Wingnut Chug Tunnel. It goes on forever. Seems like your mount likes you well enough. You've reached the end of the line. Bet you can find Choo Choo here. You need to swivel the globus's bearings. Just a few moves left. Make them count. You need to swivel the globus's bearings. You need to swivel the globus's bearings. Wheel the control box handles to buzz the wire. Wired up and ready to go. About time you found some clothes. Let's see. Ooh, there's some rubber scrap for you. Choo-Choo knew you would make it to him one day. All you had to do was follow the steel path. The rails might be getting rusty, but eventually they all converge on him.
Why?
Claims rails are like rules. If you follow them the way you're supposed to, everything good in life can roll your way.
No, Kasabat.
Says you followed the rails to where you need to be, but tracks have switches in them too. The question is then, will you keep on the same track or look for a way to hit that switch? You seem like you're on the right track already. He just hopes you don't get sidetracked onto a darker path. Whichever way you go, he wants you to know that the rails never steer you wrong. Stick to them and they always bring you right to where you're meant to be. Wants to know if you've ever regretted taking one track in life instead of another. If you could go back, would you switch tracks or keep chugging along the one you're on? Likes your sureness, the way you keep at it like a chug-chug with no way to reverse. Seems like the world came out of its rut and is chugging toward higher ground again. Can't thank you enough for hitting the brakes and working to turn the world chug around. But let's not get derailed. Says he's surprised to see anyone this far out, but sometimes the wrong train does take you to the right station. As you can see, he didn't plan to make a stop here, but now that he had to, he's really happy to see you. He says his name is Choo-Choo.
Why?
He's been off track since the world started dying, but he's trained his mind to stay positive regardless of the situation. Says sometimes life runs off the rails, but it's always better when they're good and greased. He's convinced the tracks are like the paths our lives take. and you must deal with the outcome, even if you didn't lay them yourself. This time, though, he was sidetracked and needs a new wingnut to get back on track. Wingnuts are easy to find, as they're fitted on any in-front chugger-chugger out there. The challenge is taking them off, so he's happy you're here to do it for him. Says he knew you would, like he knows the way the rails run. Feels dank down below the dirt. Take a moment to absorb the day. Just a few moves left. Make them count.
No, Kasaba.
Choo-Choo says he knew you'd come through. If someone makes a stop at your station, it's for a good reason. But he understands no one gets their tracks greased for free.
Labado?
He'd be happy to part with his spare grease sprinkler, as he believes it's a great fit for any of your business that needs to be unstuck.
Labado?
He keeps it safe in a box on the handcart, in case of emergency.
Labado?
Yes, for something catastrophic, like something squeaky in need of greasing or an ointment to ease the pain in these dark times in general.
Choo-choo.
Choo-Choo says you should help yourself to the grease sprinkler. It's a versatile tool from the bygone, a last of its kind, so don't let it go to waste.
Bah.
He's convinced you'll put it to good use, as there are lots of stuckies out there that need greasing to open.
Paramalo?
Seems glad you think so. You're on the right rail.
Kamaba?
Choo-Choo says he can't wait to get out of this place.
Go, Sitaba.
Didn't have much else to say, so no problem.